Bernard Hopkins needs Roy Jones to make a fight. Roy Jones don't need Bernard Hopkins. I can entertain with anything. I take what comes my way pound for pound. That man 188 pounds tonight. I'm 182. Bernard don't want to mess with me, man. I'm trying to be nice about this. Then I beat him. What the hell I got to split a 50-50 with him for? He ain't never beat me. He ain't never beat nobody. He got one name on his record. Felix Trinidad. That's it. The other name on his record he lost to. That ain't worth a damn to me. I don't want to hear that. He gonna give me 64. He ain't fighting me. I'm pound for pound the baddest man throwing down. Right.
Now, let's just analyze what Roy Jones just said. Roy Jones said he doesn't need Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins needs him. He can entertain with anything. That's what he said. He said Bernard Hopkins ain't beat nobody except for Trinidad, and said all the other names he lost to. Why I got to split 50-50 with him? I beat him. He either fight me 60-40 or he ain't fighting me, right? Then I'm pound for pound the baddest man throwing down. Okay. Roy Jones is the same guy that criticized Floyd Mayweather and said, even though Floyd Mayweather has no losses and Manny has 3, Floyd should still fight him because Manny Pacquiao, right? Manny Pacquiao has gotten better since then. So if you're going to say you're the best, you got to show the world that you're the best. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Why doesn't that same logic apply to Roy Jones when it comes to Bernard Hopkins? Now, true, the difference is he beat Bernard. But again, you beat Bernard on the come up. Okay, and Bernard got a late start in boxing and y'all both got better through time. Now, you said if anybody want to fight you, they think they better than you, we got to fight. Okay. If me and anybody else have the common sense to understand, yeah, y'all both got better. And guess what? If you're going to have a second fight or trilogy, or hey, why not it be with somebody that's skillful, somebody that's worthy, right? Okay, then. Well, he wound up fighting Bernard Hopkins when he was 40 years old, after he fell off. And Bernard was still able to sustain. So even though he was 40, Bernard was 44. Bernard was still better than him. You understand what I'm saying? So at this point, let's go back to when Floyd said Ali and Roy are the same fighter, and that they used their legs to get around. And when their legs could no longer, hold up, then, they started the rope-a-dope stuff and all. Now, in the video I made, that's the purpose why I made it, because I wanted to say what Floyd didn't say, and I made it known. Ali never lost punch resistance. Ali still could take a hell of a punch, and Muhammad Ali was able to still do more things than Roy Jones. Okay, and pretty much Ali has, 4 or 5 losses altogether, something like that. Roy Jones has 10. So, not to mention, Muhammad Ali failed his physical before the Holmes fight. So that fight should have never happened. See, that being the case, right? Well, he still had more left in the tank than Roy Jones did. You understand what I'm saying? And he still beat some top-level names when his legs was gone, whereas Roy didn't. Roy just beat names of people that were shells of themselves. Like, example, you see how he discredited Bernard by saying all he beat was Trinidad and the rest of the names he lost to. Right. Then he goes and fights Trinidad after Trinidad was retired and came back and fought that one fight with Roy Jones. And basically, here's a guy who started his pro career, he's fighting as a welterweight. You understand what I'm saying? Trinidad had nothing going for himself. Then he beat Jeff Lacey. Now, this is a Roy Jones trying to tell you he's still the same Roy Jones. Then he steps up and fights Joe Calzaghe, gets a knockdown in the first round, and then did absolutely nothing after that knockdown. Got outboxed. Alton Murchison is trying to tell him what to do, and he's going, I'm trying, I can't get him, I'm trying. Roy was, you understand what I'm saying? But let Roy tell it. He's telling you, like, I told you I ain't went nowhere. Okay. Now, that Roy Jones was cooked. Yet Roy Jones continues to talk right now as if, hey, I'm still the same Roy Jones. But he did the same thing, similar thing to what Floyd did when it came to Pacquiao. But also, understand something. Roy Jones, when he said 60-40 or no fight, but then says Floyd is wrong for saying, this motherfucker got 3 losses and I'm undefeated. What I got to split 50-50 with. And I'm the draw. I'm the attraction. Well, between Bernard and Roy. It was one of these things where Bernard started getting that buzz. Well, the difference is this. Pacquiao never called Floyd out. Pacquiao, every time you ask Pacquiao did he want to fight Floyd, what did he say? I get to the managers and trainers decide what we do, and right? It wasn't until he got knocked out cold by Marquez that he starts barking Floyd's name. And these are facts, because now he doesn't want to lose that $100 million. And getting knocked out by Marquez, everybody thought the fight was in jeopardy. Remember that? Yeah. And he came back. I forgot the dude's name, but came back and fought a C-level dude. And okay, now he's right back in the saddle. People have interest still in Floyd versus Pacquiao. Bernard called Roy Jones out. And he's talking about he's too big for Bernard. Okay. Now, that all being said, right? You did the same thing, pretty much, that you accused Floyd of doing. Somehow, it's okay for you to do it, but not Floyd. And let's just be real. All that talk about you were bigger than Floyd, you would know. There's always a time where somebody can be more popular than somebody at one point. That had nothing to do with it. But if you want to really look at it, you were never overall even close to being the draw and the main attraction that Floyd was. Because you got your ass kicked, Floyd didn't. And let's be real. You had to go all the way to heavyweight to make $10 million. You understand what I'm saying? Floyd, look at his numbers and look at your numbers. So it's obvious people didn't have interest in you like they did Floyd, even if more than half of them wanted to see Floyd lose. I remember the criticisms of Roy Jones. I remember people saying he's not fighting anybody. He throw them wild haymakers and all this shit, and he's not defensively that sound. He just turned his head with punches, and he used his legs to get around, but he's really not that skillful all around when you look at it and this and that. He can put punches together, but defensively, he's not the very best dude out there. And I heard all these criticisms of Roy Jones. So y'all can either play stupid and act like y'all don't know, or maybe y'all just don't remember. But at the end of the day, that's hypocrisy right there. Let's move on to the next, shall we?
But I'll say this, I'm going to bring him up, the great legendary Roy Jones Jr.
Oh.
When I look back at it, when we first... For real though,
too. He's crazy.
Now, this me being honest. Yeah. But sometimes, God is in the mix. You feel me? But if Roy would have fought me when he first was supposed to fight me as his mandatory,
you think that?
I don't think I was ready at that time.
Oh wow.
That's why it didn't happen.
That's why it didn't happen. I had to go through some more stuff to get ready to win. I could have been ready to fight, but I wasn't ready to win. It had to come through that process.
How did it feel to really be the first to knock him out? He's such a shit talker, that guy. He talks a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Well,
it had reason to.
It felt good, man. It felt like I accomplished everything I set out, but the journey is it. You feel
Not
me?
the destination.
It's the journey. Because, man, when I look at it, it had to be God.
Now, let's get into this video. So, Antonio Tarver, Mike Tyson, DJ Who Kid, they're sitting there talking about Roy Jones. Now, they were saying Roy Jones had a massive ego, thought he could beat everybody, and they were saying this shit. I saw that whole episode. Like DJ Who Kid said, man, this guy Roy Jones talk a lot of shit. Now, you hear Mike Tyson says that he had the right to, and, whatever, and he did. Okay, cool. But I remember Mike Tyson criticizing him even before that video. He said Roy Jones is delusional. Roy Jones thinks he can beat everybody. Roy Jones talks like he's a heavyweight. I remember him saying all that shit. And Mike Tyson himself said, Roy Jones, why didn't he fight Lennox Lewis and guys like that? And yeah. Now, Antonio Tarver gave Roy his props, but like he said, if they would have fought the time that they were supposed to fight and the fight didn't happen, that as bad as he wanted to fight, he don't think he was really ready at that point. Now, the thing is, Antonio Tarver, when he fought Roy Jones was 49-1. Antonio Tarver was 17 wins and 2 losses. Okay? So, Tarver didn't have that many fights at that point. And this is what I'm saying. And he was able to beat Roy Jones. But Roy Jones was old, ARIES. Well, so was Tarver, because they both were the same age. Now, even if you want to say Roy had more wear and tear in his body, it doesn't matter. He was the champion, right? And he couldn't overcome the odds at that point. So you still can't pull that bullshit about age, because if that's the case, well, he had way less experience than Roy. Once again, this isn't about let's tear down Roy Jones. No, this is let's expose the truth. Let's look at things for what they are. Let's stop playing stupid and playing favoritism. You know who I wanted to win when they fought? Roy Jones. You know who I wanted to win when Roy Jones fought? Anybody. Roy Jones. But if you can't be honest, then you're not even a fucking man. Plain and simple. He fought a guy that only had 19 fights altogether. You understand what I'm saying? And he had 1 loss. So, yeah, bottom line. He fought a guy with way less experience and a guy that in a shorter period of time was able to go in there and beat him. And once again, we talk about the weight. I think a lot of times people don't remember the second fight when he got knocked out in the second round. That was the second fight. So even for Roy Jones to lose the weight, like I said before, it would have made more sense if that was his excuse for the first fight, because he was sucking wind since from the third round on. Roy was just, you could see it. And Roy Jones always had good conditioning. Well, this was the second fight. Notice from the third fight on, he's not talking about losing 25 pounds of muscle and this and that. So in talking about deteriorating, how does losing weight deteriorate your boxing skills? You understand what I'm saying? Your conditioning wasn't the same in the first fight. You got tired quick and all of that, but you still continued to fight on. So my thing is, if you're going to sit here and say that, well, the deterioration came because I lost 25 pounds of muscle, so it affected you for the whole rest of your career. Bottom line, your skills and everything just went away because you lost weight. That makes no sense, man. I said that 25 pounds of weight loss, I'm referencing the first fight when I say it. I'm not referencing it to the second fight. I think it hurt him in the first fight. He won that first fight as far as I'm concerned. But I feel like because of the weight loss, that's what the problem was. And pretty much, if he would have beat Tarver, there wouldn't have been a rematch, right? Well, he did win. But put it like this, if he would have beat Tarver in the fashion that he was expected to, there wouldn't have been a rematch. But he didn't. You understand what I'm saying? So for that, I attribute that shit to the first fight, not the second one. And to be honest with you, what type of team do you got and what type of brain do you have that you didn't realize that the weight loss bothers you? You would know that in training. What does fighters always say? And Roy Jones himself has said this. Training is the hard part. The fight is the easy part, because that's what all the training is for, which is why I don't believe in that ring rush bullshit. It's always an excuse that people just use because they don't want to just say, you know what, man, I just wasn't sharp tonight, against this guy because he was better than I thought, or whatever it may be. So the whole thing with that is, when I'm listening to him say this, I'm like, yeah, I don't attribute the weight loss to the second fight. I attribute it to the first one. The first one. The third fight, he was able to go, the distance with Tarver. He almost got stopped, got hit with a good shot, that check left hook, and Roy did survive it, but Roy couldn't throw nothing back. Like I said, how do your boxing skills deteriorate because you lose weight? You just forget how to fight all of a sudden, stuff you normally don't get hit with? No. It's what Floyd Mayweather said about his legs. And Roy Jones himself said, your defense is your legs. He said, people got it wrong. Defense ain't up here. Defense is here, your legs. That was your defense. Now, the whole thing is, once your legs are no longer there, and you don't know how to slip and move up top like you're supposed to, what else do you have? And we've seen All them losses Roy had was always one-punch knockouts. Now, I guess it's too bad for Roy that he didn't fight Tarver when the fight was supposed to happen, because maybe he would have won that one. And then the nightmare wouldn't have happened. But it did happen, so we don't have to use our imaginations. Now, that all being said, if Floyd Mayweather, and any other fighter for that matter, if defense was your legs only, why was it that a guy like Bernard Hopkins was able to outlast him? Why is it a guy 4 full years older than him was able to do better and sustain a higher level of fighting than Roy Jones? Everybody knows. You've heard so many people say he doesn't have Floyd's ability, boxing ability overall. He was, y'all mix up flash and flare. Don't get me wrong. Roy was a bad motherfucker. But y'all mix flash and flare. Y'all take that over skills. It was like, not exactly the same, because I never seen Floyd as a boring fighter, okay? But it's the same as, to me, watching the San Antonio Spurs play when they had Tim Duncan and they would win in 5 championships, okay? And people calling them boring and all that. They just beat you motherfuckers 125 to 80. So no, they didn't have people that could jump from the foul line and do Vince Carter and Michael Jordan type shit. But at the same time, they were getting the results, and that's the win. And y'all get flash and flare. You'd rather have a guy that can give you a highlight reel more so than a guy that can technically break you the fuck down and get and just dominate and win and barely lose a fucking round. Y'all don't understand the difference. Once again, Mike Tyson wasn't supposed to lose to Evander Holyfield. Julio Cesar Chavez was supposed to destroy Pernell Whitaker. Okay? This is where people don't understand. Skills that come in, they come into play where if what your strong points are change at a certain point in your life, what can you do to ensure I'm still the same fighter, but I just do it in a different way because I have to? Roy didn't have that. He still had hand speed, still like to shake his head, slap his shoes, but Roy Jones was done, and he developed a glass jaw. Simple. Well, all he did was prove Floyd Mayweather right with his legs. Real simple. Shall we go on to the next one?
Roy Jones Jr. just became the biggest hater in boxing when he put into question Floyd Mayweather's greatness because he didn't fight Amir Khan? Nah, you cannot make this up, bro. This dude really said, yeah, but why he never fight Amir Khan when he had 2 legs on him, bro? And he was really fast. He couldn't really give him problems. Like, bro, Danny Garcia, the slowest fighter in boxing, bro, with a punch that he didn't even need to look at you to touch you, bro. And no look left hook. Bro, Danny Garcia said like this and knocked him out. What do you think Floyd Mayweather would have been able to do to Amir Khan, bro, with that glass chin that he had, bro, and Floyd's speed and defense? Like, are you insane to question Floyd Mayweather's legacy, bro, for not fighting Amir Khan? Nah, listen, I love Roy Jones Jr., bro. He was definitely that dude. I really do believe that Roy Jones Jr., bro, and Bernard Hopkins never got the flowers they deserved in boxing, man. For whatever reason, they were really overlooked as the talents that they were, man. But for him to come in 2025, bro, and question Floyd's legacy over an Amir Khan, it's insane. Roy, you should be ashamed of yourself, my brother. Why you hating on Floyd, bro? That's 100% a hate comment, man. If he would have said Manny Pacquiao in his prime, I would have been like, I'll give him that, boy. Everybody know that Manny Pacquiao was roided up. You know what I'm saying? But Amir Khan, bro, Amir Khan.
Now, this content creator, and there's many, there's a whole lot. I could sit here and make a compilation video for you of people saying the same things about Roy Jones. So for Roy Jones to sit here and say, why didn't he fight Amir Khan? Roy Jones, you know, when he was younger, had legs and had hand speed, and he would have gave Floyd trouble. This is the things you hope would have happened to Floyd. And it goes to show you, you've always had these ill feelings. Like the guy said, come on, man. Danny Swift, Slow Garcia was able to catch him. You know, people, even before, I forget the guy's name, even before, like that, look, Amir Khan had a weak chin. He got careless. And when he got tired, it showed there was nothing. Amir Khan is not faster than Zab Judah. He threw them those slap-ass punches and run. That style of hit and run that it's funny. It's funny how Roy Jones try to use people with that hit and run style. Okay, he don't call it running when they do it, right? But at the same time, he wants to try to make you think there was people better than Floyd. That either they didn't fight Floyd, okay, whether the fight happened or not, they got losses to people that's nowhere near as good as Floyd was, or they got losses to people that Floyd beat. You understand what I'm saying? So even in that scenario, Floyd was ducking Amir Khan. Roy Jones isn't a hater to you? Y'all really think that Roy Jones is dropping knowledge just because it's Roy Jones? Roy Jones is just giving you his fucking biased opinion. That's all he's doing. Roy sounds ridiculous. And like this guy said, Roy should be ashamed of himself. He sounds really stupid. Well, for that matter, we can say, well, Roy Jones, why didn't you fight motherfucking Gerald McClellan? Why didn't you fight Chris Eubanks Sr.? Chris Eubanks Sr. probably didn't want to fight Roy. You know what I'm saying? But why didn't you fight him? Why didn't you fight, you know, the guys of your era that would have put you in a much higher place than you are? So when people say, I don't think Roy Jones gets enough credit, and bro, Roy Jones, the credit he doesn't get is because of his fucking resume. Why didn't you fight Nigel Benn? Why didn't you fight Steve Collins? Why didn't you fight Michael Nunn? Why didn't you fight Julian Jackson? Why didn't you fight Mike McCallum back when he was younger? Why didn't you fight these guys? They were all there. Why didn't you fight these guys? And him sitting here saying that why didn't Floyd fight Amir Khan when he had legs? All this shit that he's saying. Let me say something that Floyd said. And this makes all the sense in the world. Amir Khan is a 3-time world champion. Andre Berto, 3-time world champion. People said Andre Berto is always in exciting fights. Even Max Kellerman said this. He's always in exciting fights. He never disappoints. He said he think Amir Khan does have some power, but I think Andre Berto, his punch might even be too much for Amir Khan. Andre Berto doesn't get enough credit. Max Kellerman said this shit. So, 3-time champion, 3-time champion. Both of them had losses. It doesn't fucking matter which one he would have fought. So, if he would have fought Amir Khan, now he's ducking Andre Berto. So, to sit up and bring up names to guys that got losses, to guys that's not even all-time greats or Hall of Famers, you sound completely stupid. That would be like me sitting here saying, how come you never fought Orion Barkley? Because people made Orion Barkley sound like, yo, he was a monster. Okay, well, you didn't fight a whole lot of dudes. Now, when he said Hopkins only had one name on his list, to this very day, Roy only has 2 Hall of Famers and 2 all-time greats on his list. And let's just be real. There's a lot of people that would have beat James Toney. There was a lot of people that would have and did beat Bernard Hopkins. And he, out of his own mouth, discredited Bernard Hopkins. So even though later on, for whatever Bernard fought, like, you know, the Kelly Pavliks, the Jermaine Taylors of the world, let's stop playing games. Bernard Hopkins was a bad dude, but let's be real, man. There's none of you motherfuckers think Bernard Hopkins was like the best dude out there. No, he had losses already. And we can't use his age for an example because he got better through time. And when it got to the point where, okay, this is the level he's on, he still was able to win even after losses, which is something Roy couldn't do against top-level guys. Why you never fought Andre Ward? Since you want to bring up Amir Khan, why didn't you fight Andre Ward? Roy? See what I'm saying? So there's always something that we can sit, and it's not to play tit for tat. It's just, let's look at the facts. You're trying to make it sound like you fought everybody. Like you said, I can entertain with anything, meaning, you know, give me these low-level guys so I can put a show on and show all this shit. Okay, now do this against top-level dudes, Roy. This is what we're talking about. So when this guy is saying, now the one thing the guy said that I don't agree with, for sure, because he's, you know, he said, I mean, if you said, like, why did you fight Manny Pacquiao when he was younger? Floyd is 2 years older than Manny Pacquiao. Why do y'all keep forgetting this? Why? Okay? Question. Would Roy Jones have beaten Bernard Hopkins when he turned Hopkins down? Most Roy Jones fans say, yeah, man, yeah. Right? Okay. Do we know that for sure? No. Let's be real. Bernard Hopkins is 4 years older than Roy Jones. And in their rematch, let's be real, man, Roy Jones, that shit wasn't even competitive. Roy was hitting him in the back of the head. He was doing all types of shit. Bernard was going down and bitching and grabbing his head and complaining to the refs and all of that stuff he was doing. And Roy Jones basically lost the fucking fight. Roy Jones was never really in the fight. He didn't do anything. So this experience he's talking about, why couldn't he overcome anything that Bernard did? The hand speed was still there. Still had some pop on his punch. He couldn't deliver the shit. And why? He couldn't even get his legs under him the way he needed to. You never seen Floyd Mayweather fight in a half-empty building. Now, maybe early in the career when you were on the undercard, yeah. But I mean, as that guy, never. Roy Jones is fighting in these island fights in these little half-empty ass buildings, like little bingo halls and shit. And yet, you think that doesn't mean anything, but it absolutely does. You know, Pernell Whitaker, the last time I saw him fight, he fought a guy they called the Pink Panther on Tuesday Night Fights. And I didn't even know Pernell was on that card. When I saw Pernell, I'm like, wow. What people don't get, I used to love watching Tuesday Night Fights. It's boxing. But if you were on Tuesday Night Fights and your name was Pernell Whitaker or Hector Camacho or James Toney or any of that, that means you fell off. Tuesday Night Fights was the guys, the up-and-coming guys, the guys that's trying to get to that next level, or the guys that's trying to regain what they once had. And that's what that was if you fought on Tuesday Night Fights. Let's just be real. So this is what I'm saying. Roy Jones was fighting fights where they wasn't even televised. It was pay-per-view. And then all of a sudden, you watch it free on YouTube. Bad lighting, fucked up camera work, all that kind of stuff. So you never seen Floyd in that predicament. Yet, here's a guy that tells you how great he was. So my thing is, yeah, Roy, you was a bad motherfucker. And I always rock with you and never wanted to see you lose. But if you were so much better than Floyd, why didn't you get what Floyd got? And I got something for that, because I know what his answer is, and I'm about to address it on the next segment. Now, shall we move on?
Of my age and Manny's age, because we love fighting more than we love the money. If you don't give us a belt, what are we fighting for?
Manny's 46 years old. He was out the game for 4 years. Does he deserve to just come back, even though he's one of my favorite fighters and he's accomplished more than almost every fighter, you know? Does he deserve to just come back and get a title shot?
If Floyd came back and got a title shot, would you say that? No, you wouldn't.
I would say that.
No, you wouldn't.
No, yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you would not.
No, you would not.
Let me tell you something.
Floyd is capable of beating anybody at any time.
Because I think Floyd is better than Manny, I'm not a bigger fan of Floyd than Manny. You get what I'm saying? So I love all fighters. You're my favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
But if Floyd came back now and he got a title shot, I say that's wrong. Yeah. That's wrong. You know?
That's why
Manny's closer though, 4 years.
Right.
Manny's only 4 years away. I just want to know, how do you feel
How
about
the fight game is going now, it's like I'm glad to see him get a shot. Because truthfully speaking, for a guy of my age and Manny's age, because we love fighting more than we love the money, if you don't give us a belt, what are we fighting for? We don't love, well, we don't love the money.
Right.
We love this. This is what makes us stand up. Right. You understand me? The money, we'll get right for it. We'll try to get right. But if you tell us this on the line, that's a whole different.
But not only that, pride too, because you will fight Floyd without no belts right now.
Of
no
course
belts.
I would. Of course I
So
would.
pride plays a
I'm
big
different.
part.
That's just who I am. This right here for a boxer, a real fighter, I love the game. You tell me you want me to fight for a belt, oh, here I come. Here I come.
Now, let's look at the hypocrisy of what Roy Jones just said. Now, you saw the clip earlier where Roy Jones was sitting up here saying, hey, why I got to split 60-40 on 50-50 with this guy, Bernard Hopkins, right? He said Bernard Hopkins ain't beat nobody. All he beat was Trinidad. Everybody else he lost to, right? Bernard don't want to mess with me. Talked about how big he was. He came in 182 or whatever it was. And you know, Bernard, you know, basically, you know, he can't beat him, right? So pretty much, I don't want to split 50-50. It's not a money issue. I want 60-40. He just sat here and said him and Manny love to fight more than they love the money. I mean, we're trying to get the money, right? But if the title's on the line, now, it would have been for Roy's title. Okay, it would have been for Roy's title. It would have been a title defense. But at the same time, Roy didn't want to fight Bernard Hopkins in a rematch because of money. He wanted 60-40. He just said, now don't let him throw you off by saying, at my age and at Manny's age, and don't let that part throw you off. He said, and the fact that we love to fight more than we love the money. I doubt very seriously Manny Pacquiao was coming out just for the money. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to get paid nice against, Mario Barrios. And yes, it's for a title, okay? But listen to Roy Jones' own fucking hypocrisy. Now, Roy Jones, first of all, let me say this. Not only was Floyd Mayweather way smarter than Roy Jones back then, but he's just smarter than Roy Jones all around. I don't know Roy Jones, high school, college, whatever, if he did any of that. Floyd's a dropout. And look at what Floyd is and look at where the fuck Roy is. He's far smarter than Roy because he's talking about if you're not fighting for a title, right? Then what are we fighting for? So you'd rather just have a title around your waist, but the money doesn't match it because you want to prove you're a real fighter. But you told Bernard Hopkins you're not fighting him for 50-50. In fact, when they had the sit down and they were on split screen, he told him the same thing. Okay, got all in his feelings and he's not fighting him unless it's, But now when y'all fought later on, right? You said you don't need Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins needs you. So later on when you guys fought, Bernard didn't need you then. This is what I'm saying about how foolish Roy Jones is. Bernard didn't need you. He just knew he could beat you. And he wanted to be able to look on his record and say, okay, he beat me, but I finally beat him. And that's pretty much the way it happened. And you can't use your age, all that bullshit, because Bernard Hopkins is 4 years older than you. And in fact, you know what I find funny? Because he kicked Antonio Tarver's ass, something you couldn't do. So even though I thought you won the first fight, I thought you pulled it off, I thought people was more excited because he was throwing those punches. Most of that shit wasn't even getting in. In the middle of the ring, Tarver didn't do shit. When he would get Roy on the ropes, and the thing is, Roy was tired. Tarver wasn't pushing him back to the ropes. Roy was just going to the ropes to rest because he was tired. And Roy, had to fight the way he did in order to not get knocked out and not have Tarver come and steal rounds. He was trying to steal rounds. He was trying to do the same thing to Roy that Ray Leonard was doing to Marvin Hagler. Only Ray was successful with it. Tarver was missing most of that shit. And I said it once and I'll say it again. I do not think Roy Jones lost that first fight, and I attribute him being so tired to the 25 pounds of muscle loss. Not the second fight, the first one. Not the third one. He went to so your ability to go the distance depended on if you didn't get knocked the fuck out. So losing 25 pounds, and what the fuck that got to do with your chin? See, you got to think. Stop being fans and just think as a man, okay? And as a woman. Not no fucking yeah, but no, it's no yeah, but. It's no yeah, but. When you're full of excuses, you'll never understand reality and common sense. Now, Roy Jones, and this particular clip, let's look at his jealousy once again. These two guys are talking about Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Is it fair for him to come back after being gone for so long and then walking into a title fight? What was Roy Jones' reaction? If Floyd Miller was come back, would you say that? What did Floyd have to do with this conversation? Now, you had an idiot in the comment section say I was obsessed at this point. And I told him, motherfucking, you're a bitch always. I'm obsessed, but Roy keeps making videos. Roy keeps lying. Roy keeps giving his opinion on things when he don't even know what he's talking about. And he's so arrogant that he sat here and told that guy when the guy said, no, I wouldn't think it was fair. He said, I would ask that question. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. He's telling another grown-ass man that he wouldn't say the same thing if it was Floyd. And then the guy is trying to glaze Roy. I love all fighters, and you're my favorite fighter. But if Floyd came back, I would say the same thing. Now, here's the thing: is Floyd talking about coming back? We done heard so many lies about, not even rumors, lies that Floyd is coming back to fight Pacquiao. Floyd is coming back to fight this guy. Floyd is coming back to fight this guy. Floyd, right? Even the latest was George Kambosos. Where did this shit come from? Oh, Floyd is broke. He's trying to recoup. And so when Floyd hear all this shit, see, this is what I'm saying. You guys may see Floyd make a video. Oh, he flexing because he buying a new car. Oh, he's showing his. Well, wait. Think, y'all. Look at all these videos of Floyd being broke. Y'all wasn't saying this shit when I was hearing videos about he lost $400 million. He's broke. He's about to lose his match. All this shit. Then all of a sudden he's shopping, buying 4 new cars. And it's obvious it pisses you off when you thought he was broke and LOL, and then all of a sudden come to find out it's bullshit. So when he responds, I'm going to show y'all just how broke I am. And he's buying cars. Y'all want to say he's flaunting, but y'all overlook all these videos that's negative directed towards him because y'all hate him. As much shit goes on in this world, I'm going to hate somebody because they're a show off. As much shit going on right now, I'm more focused on this dude flaunting than the fact that the cost of living has went up so badly. You got families that, I wanted to send my kid to college, now I can't. I wanted that house, we can't afford it anymore. We want that, whatever, and y'all focused on a dude. And it bothers you because all these motherfuckers are show-offs. And people might show off in different ways, so what? They're all show-offs. They're all assholes to me. Every one of them, they're all assholes to some capacity. Some people carry themselves different. I always like Scott Nicholson's attitude, Anthony Joshua's attitude, Katie Taylor's attitude, because they just come to fight. Now, Clarissa is super confident, and she talk her shit, but she backs it up. Y'all back up people that talk shit and don't back up their own shit talking, because it's just something with you guys. Well, not only is Roy sitting there telling this guy that he would, yes you would, no you wouldn't. He's like a kid arguing with this guy to tell him what he would and wouldn't think. And then the dude partner, no you wouldn't. He's over here glazing Roy. He's going to disrespect and try to play your boy out to try to make Roy Jones happy. This is what I just sat here and watched, and I'm like, wow, who was talking about Floyd Mayweather? They talk about Manny Pacquiao. Why is Floyd name coming out your mouth? Then the other guy goes, Roy, he says, and did you hear Roy Jones when he said, yes, you would, no, you would, because Floyd Mayweather is capable of beating anybody, right? Yeah, he is capable of beating anybody, including your old cripple ass. But you understand what I'm saying? He just sat here and said that. Nobody was talking about Floyd. So when he's telling him that, it's like, even though I'm trying to disrespect and discredit this guy, I'm going to sit here out of my old, like, it's like, does this dude have Alzheimer's? He's capable of beating anybody. Now, the other guy says, but then again, pride too, because you'll fight Floyd right now for no belt. Or no one. Well, that's just good. That's who I am. Exactly. That's exactly why you're not where Floyd is. And your excuse is you don't care about the money. Roy Jones is like that guy, that fat guy that comes in the gym, and he might get a little beefier, but he got no cuts whatsoever, got a big pot belly, and he's telling you, oh, I don't want to be cut, No, he just don't know what to do to get cut. He doesn't know how to eat. He doesn't know what type, what type of rest he should be getting. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's lifting weight. He just doesn't know. And I guarantee you, if that dude was able to find a way, somebody guided him to help him, he'd say something completely different. I used to think this and this and that. Of course you said those things before, because back then you didn't know what the fuck you were supposed to be doing. That's what Roy is. I get so he was a great, yeah, nobody, you can't deny that Roy Jones was a great fighter. I'm not one telling you he's not. I think he is. And like I said, Roy Jones was a bad motherfucker. He's still not as good as Floyd. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. Somehow Floyd just got lucky and he didn't work for what he got. Roy Jones worked for everything, got his ass busted and got 10 losses, but somehow Floyd, 50-0, didn't. He just somehow got everything handed to him. Yet, Roy Jones is an advocate for speaking about anybody getting that ring, you got to respect him. You put your life on the line, but yet, now let me try to find ways to try to shit on somebody who's better than I am. And that's what bothers this guy. Because Floyd is better than him. And the fact of the matter is, like somebody said something in my comment sections, and they're so right. He said how when people do that, build your perfect fighter, you know how they'll do like, Ali speed, Floyd Mayweather's technical abilities, or, Manny Pacquiao's footwork. He said nobody never really uses Roy that. And I'm like, true. And this is the thing. Roy is trying to be relevant by being negative towards Floyd. Like all of this shit, man, I hear Roy Jones talk about how he got goons too. I got wolves too. I got guys too. I decided then always say he talk about God and what God got. So God want you to be a militant, jealous, resort to the streets if you have to, so-called Christian child of God. I don't believe in no motherfucking, I don't follow none of that. So I'm not here to tell you, I tell everybody, I'm a good guy, not a nice guy. Because I don't take shit from nobody, and I'm not going to glaze and put up with your bullshit. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you what you want to hear. Ain't no fucking way I'm going to diss my partner to try to make some motherfucker feel good about, fuck you, man. No, we're not here to disrespect you. We're not here to try to make you look like a fool. You're going to do that on your own. We're just talking to you, and we're being real about what we see and what we hear and how we feel about what you say. And this is why people pick and choose who they get interviewed by, because they don't want to be put on blast. So my whole thing is, I'm listening to him, and it's like, here we go again. Out of nowhere, would you say that was Floyd? Why does Floyd have to be the example? So who's obsessed with who? Who's the one obsessed? It's your boy Roy. Floyd had nothing to do with that conversation. And in fact, if for you to sit here and say you don't care about the money, well, what happened if you hit hard times and something really went wrong in your life? You're going to pay for fucking meals and pay for a roof over your head or whatever. It could. What is them little bullshit titles worth? I got a bunch of titles I won. I'm proud of what I've done. But guess what? The titles are fucking worthless. They're just trophies, just reminder, hey, you won this, you earned this. That's all they are. Well, yeah. It's like getting employee of the month or some shit. You understand what I'm saying? Nice gesture, but hey, that's your personal accomplishments. That's all. And then he's, the fact that you throw Manny in there. Well, here's the thing. You're sitting there talking about Manny and you love the sport more. Manny is another dude who want to just hear, I'm better than Floyd. He wants something. So you got people that will say shit like they said, if he beat Keith Thurman, he's greater than Floyd, motherfucker. And see, Roy Jones put his foot in his mouth because Roy Jones disagreed with Max Kellerman, and he said, how you going to be greater than somebody that beat you? And I said the same thing. I don't give a fuck if you beat 90 fucking people. I beat you. So that just means you could beat them 90 people, but you can't beat me. What they got to do with me? Because of what you did outside of me and your fight. Ego and stupidity fuck a lot of people up. And the fact of the matter is, Roy Jones feel like he should be ranked higher than what he is. It bothers him. It's obvious that it bothers him. And the fact that a grown man will sit here and try to take his time to try to, degrade somebody else's name. If all of this was about Muhammad Ali, then you should spend more time talking about Muhammad Ali and what he meant. And stop talking about Floyd. Because, like I said, y'all know all this shit I say always comes into fruition. Roy Jones is just exposing himself. And I'm telling you, the more people start looking and watching him, they might be amazed, oh yeah, this guy, but they're going to look at him and realize who he did it against. So the same criticism he had of Bernard Hopkins saying he only beat one dude, well, damn, who'd you beat? You only beat two dudes, and Bernard was one of them. Nobody give a fuck about no bum-ass John Ruiz. You go in comment sections right now, and you hear everybody calling him the worst thing ever happened to the heavyweight division. He was a bum. How did he get a belt? Chris Burr had a belt. Lennox Lewis had a belt. That's not who Roy chose to fight. He chose the weakest of the heavyweights that would give him the best chance. Who can I fight that I got the best chance to win against? I don't hear that bullshit about him and Chris Burr was friends because he fought Mike McCallum, who was also his friend according to him. He's 39 years old. I just did to help make some money, you know. Right. Once again, all of these things he say, well, Floyd fought Zab Judah to help him get money. See, and that's the thing about it, man. It's like Floyd beat guys that would have also beat Amir Khan, and he brings Amir Khan name up like he did in that video, right? Once again, he cannot talk without bringing up Floyd's name. And I told you guys, I believe that his hatred is real for Floyd. His jealousy is real for Floyd, obviously, but he's trying to use it, I believe, to try to get on board to have a fight with Jake Paul. Because he brought Jake Paul's name up, and he was glazing the fuck out of Jake Paul. And I'm sitting here like laughing because he said out of his own mouth, Jake Paul, he said, people better take Jake Paul serious. Jake Paul's a real fighter. This is what Roy Jones said. But then he end up, when he's talking about, okay, but if he fought real fighters, this and this and that, he's going to get exposed. Well, he got a better chance of fighting some guy like me or Tyson McCall, right? Because you're no longer in your prime. You're old as fuck. You're physically beat up, and Jake Paul is a hype job. He's green as fuck, and he's making a whole lot of money, and you're going to make a lot of money fighting Jake Paul. That's all that shit is. But we're going to take credit away from somebody who's done more than me. Well, I tell you what. The guy talking to Roy said Manny Pacquiao has done more than almost everybody in boxing. Okay, so let me say this. For you to say being 50-0 doesn't mean you're the best. That it damn sure doesn't mean you're the best just because you accomplish more. Especially when you accomplish more than that guy that's 50-0 that beat your ass. So we know you're not better than Floyd. So my point, it doesn't matter. And in the words of Roy Jones, how are you going to be greater than somebody that beat you? All right. So I don't give a fuck how many weight classes he won belts in. Just like when you guys discredit the women. What do y'all always say? Women boxing is not deep. Ain't hardly no good fighters. So they're winning, but they ain't fighting nobody. They're fighting who's there. No different from nobody else. So you understand what I'm saying? You debunk your own logic. Guys, this shit is easy. And the only way this is complex to you or hard is if you don't have common fucking sense. So saying somebody accomplished more, but the person that you got your ass kicked by, or you won more titles against other people. Oh, but a rematch. Yeah, I know it's always rematch, because you guys can't get it done the first time. Now, once again, if Roy Jones would have retired after he fought John Ruiz, nobody would have imagined his career going the way it did after the John Ruiz fight. And y'all would have had this false interpretation that he was this and that, right? That he would have beat all those guys. Okay, he say 25 pounds of muscle, that loss affected the rest of his career, and that was the demise of him. Okay. I don't give a fuck what you attribute it to. That means, bottom line, Floyd Mayweather outlasted you, fought way better opponents than you did. So we don't have to assume what Floyd could have did, because he did it. Floyd is happy with his career. Floyd is happy with his decision. You're not. And it's obvious. You can try to pretend you are, but it's obvious that you're not. And that's why you constantly continue to bring up the name of Floyd Mayweather. You don't bring up any of these other fighters' names, but you bring up Floyd. Floyd ain't even thinking about you. We all watched you get knocked out. Floyd just basically showed you to remind you. Because, maybe you took too many to the jaw. He just showed you. You're talking all this shit, keep bringing my name up. Cool. Look at this. He done moved on with his life. You still bringing up Floyd, trying to stay relevant, bringing up a dude that's 147 pounds. That'll still kick your ass. But bottom line, like you said, he's capable of beating anybody. Right. So you're trying and hoping that you can get this Jake Paul fight because Floyd ain't thinking about you. You think you better than me? Then, and then, right. Floyd ain't said a fucking word. You're just talking, making up shit, saying shit. And the fact of the matter is, the people that don't like Floyd hype you up. For what? A damn near 60-year-old man with bad knees that has a massive ego. What are we hyping him up for? To do what? And that's why I said in a previous video, if that fight is to happen, Jake need to knock him out in round 1. Stop fucking playing. Knock this dude out. Stop talking about his experience. And have you seen the dude that whooped Roy's ass? And he was in his fucking 30s and 40s then? So you mean to tell me at damn near 60, Jake Paul, you gonna go in there and dance around and move and try and work? Because if you can't destroy Roy Jones, you don't deserve shit. Just like Carissa Shields. If Layla takes this fight, she'll be skipping the line, right? Or would this wouldn't, unless she fights at heavy, well, even if she fought at heavyweight, regardless, it'll just be you're getting a shot at someone only because you're running your mouth, saying things. So now she called your bluff. We're not just calling your bluff. Let's go. We got the money, we got the venue and the date. Let's go. So now you'd be in there getting a huge payday over other active fighters. And all you've been doing, everything you've been doing has been outside of actual boxing itself. You haven't been in the ring. You understand what I'm saying? Manny Pacquiao, same thing. Now he comes back and he gets a title shot. I've always told you guys, I'm not into this skipping the line thing, and they do it just for the sake of trying to make a big fight. It's just like when Anthony Joshua got beat twice by Usyk. I'm like, nah, he don't deserve no damn title fight over somebody who's active and still winning, and then he just lost 2 fights. But for name's sake, let's do it anyway, because we want to make a big fight or a big card, and we're gonna put someone who just got his ass kicked twice back to back in a title match. Now, I like Anthony Joshua as a heavyweight more than any of these other heavyweights, but I'm about fairness. Nah, man, you lost your shot. It's as simple as that. But y'all can't do that because y'all are fans. I'm nobody's fucking fan. I don't have no favorite fucking fighter. Like I said, there's people that I may like more than others, and I might root for them. But if you lose, you just lose. I don't lose no fucking sleep over that shit. I don't bow to none of you motherfuckers. So now, let's look at this. He brings up Floyd once again, and it's not going to be the last time. This is what he's doing. He's doing a tour of let's talk about Floyd. Let's hate on. That's what he's doing. He cannot talk without bringing up Floyd. Out of nowhere. If Floyd Mayweather was coming back, would you say that Floyd? You are obsessed with Floyd. It bothers you. And like you said, you don't need Hopkins. Hopkins needs you. It's the same exact thing. Floyd don't need you at all. Floyd is cool. Floyd is good. He's doing what he's doing. He's still making a whole lot of money doing exhibitions. What are you doing? Talk about what you would do if a title's on the line. Or, you went from saying that you told Bernard, bottom line, I'm not splitting 50-50 with you. 60-40 or no fight. You just sat here and said you love titles more than me. You don't care about the money. And at your age, you mean to tell me you're more concerned about a title being on the fucking line, but not the money? That's rather stupid. You want to try to prove that you got some dog in you. You want to try to prove that, but you're like that dog with arthritis in your hind legs. So you kind of did a little strut. You know how dogs, when they fucked up in the, ass all, yeah. You know what I mean? The tail be looking all raggedy and shit, man. You're at that stage in your career, man. Stop playing with people. So when you sit here and hear this man say what he's saying, do you guys not understand what's happening here? One guy is up in age, his clock is ticking, and he wants to try to stay relevant by trying to use people names to keep him in conversations. Now, if Floyd was to say, yeah, we got the money, and that's what he's trying to get a payday. He's trying to get a payday. Figure even if I lose to Floyd is much smaller, so I should be able to take his punches better. And I ain't worried about getting out embarrassed and getting out boxed, which is exactly what would happen. He'd get embarrassed, get out boxed, and pretty much look like a fool. And then he'd say some shit like, well, I ain't afraid to lose, you know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather wanted to, this, that, whatever, but, man, we can do it again. And that's him. just stroking his own ego, because that's all he's doing. Well, let's just say, for example, Roy said he don't care about the money, right? And the title's on the line. So, since you don't care about the money, let's say Francis Ngannou said, hey, Roy, you know what? I came in and I fought Fury. And then I fought AJ. And I feel like it'd be an honor for me and you. And Turkey said he gonna make some bullshit trophy belt. You know what I'm saying? So let's do it, Roy. If Roy Jones sat here and said when he was in his 40s, James Toney's too big, do you think that he really want to fight Francis Ngannou? Do you understand what I'm saying? See, he's trying to stay as safe as he possibly can. I remember Jim Lampley. I told you guys this before, and if you've been watching Roy, you know. I can't remember who he was fighting, but I remember, it might have been the Richard Hall fight. I'm not sure. But I remember Jim Lampley said, Roy Jones is one of the smartest people I know. He said, look at the amount of money that Roy Jones has made without having to take the risk. Meaning what? He's not fucking fighting anybody. But he goes in there, puts on a show, and entertain the people because he's fighting guys he can get away with that shit with. Simple. 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 Look at the amount of money he's made without having to take the risks. That came out of Jim Lampley's mouth. And he wasn't saying it to belittle Roy. He was just being honest that, yeah, motherfucker fighting these bums, man. And let's just be real. Let's just be real. So if you're going to look at who Roy Jones fought, and he tried to discredit Bernard Hopkins' resume at the time, okay, and said he lost to all the other, okay, so my point, you beat him when y'all were younger. He kicked your ass when y'all were older. So no matter how much you talk about James Toney and Bernard Hopkins, you got people that's fans of people, and they sniff up their ass crack all day, but you basically sitting up here talking about two guys that many people would have beat. And when you say you would have beat Mike Tyson and anybody else that they would have put in front of you, yeah, it's easy to say all that shit about what you would have, could have, and right. But we look at the reality of what happened. How the fuck you gonna beat any of those other motherfuckers? Then you got to resort to in your prime. Once again, no matter what, whether it's Pretty Boy Floyd, whether it's Money Mayweather, he never fell off, and he learned and knew how to adjust a different style than what he was doing and still be just as effective. We talk about a dude that barely lose rounds, but against top-level competition. Not Richard Halls and Murky Sosas. You know what I'm saying? Not people like that. So having a nice highlight reel and being able to get spectacular knockouts, great. But against who? Your fucking resume can't compare to Floyd's. It's really simple. And he said, after seeing, looking at Manny's age, he's happy to see him here to get a tell. Okay, cool, that's all good. He's still skipping the line, yes. But let's put Roy Jones in that same situation. Roy Jones is fighting, and he wants to fight James Toney, but James Toney decides he wants to opt out and fight a fucking guy, Thomas Hearns, somebody who's well past their prime, and then all of a sudden, what you think Roy Jones would have said? What you think he would have said? I forgot who Roy Jones fought, but I remember he fought somebody, and he was in the ring doing an interview, and Thomas Hearns, I don't think Thomas Hearns, he had basically, was like, when you gonna give me a fight? When you gonna fight me? Or something to that effect. But it was Hearns. You know what Roy Jones said? Roy Jones said he had nothing to gain by beating Thomas Hearns at this point in his career. He said the same thing about Holyfield, okay? But he fights a guy that Holyfield beat and lost to in John Ruiz. So you understand what I'm saying, man? Like it's easy to run your mouth and talk and say a bunch of shit, but what it really comes down to is what you're willing to actually back up. Like I said about Layla, love Layla Ali as a fighter. But like I said, you can't sit here, talk shit, and then talk about unless somebody got $15 million because you don't expect it to happen, then all of a sudden, well, guess what, Layla? We got that $15 million. We got a venue, we got the time, we got the date. All we need is you. And then you don't take it. And what's your excuse going to be for not taking it? Now, after that, you turn it down and going to continue to talk shit. You're going to have people like, nah, she's capping, man. And you lose respect that way. And your age got nothing to do with it when you're saying, I can still beat Clarissa right now. And understand, as grown adults, if you don't understand when somebody's poking the bear, let me tell this person what this person said about them to get them to talk. Man, grow up. I'm telling you, Floyd is smarter than all of y'all. Y'all can say what y'all want, but I love when you ask Floyd something. He go, we're not going to do that. We're not here to talk about. There you go. We're here. I'm fighting such and such, and I'm not worried about such and such and this and that. This is where you guys have so much immaturity and your egos keep you from thinking smart. And between the two, Clarissa's good. Layla's the one. She's the one that hasn't been in the ring in a long time. So looking like you can still fight, being sexy, being beautiful, none of that has nothing to do with you winning a fight. What you're capable of doing come fight night is what matters. I don't want to see Layla get beat up like that. I don't want to see her lose a fight to anybody. I don't want to see Clarissa Shields lose a fight to anybody. But if they get in there, somebody got to get their ass whooped. And I say, I put my money up against any of you motherfuckers. Shields will beat that ass badly. And if Layla ego causes her to get in there and get her ass whooped, well, that's just a decision that she made. But y'all can walk around hating on Clarissa all day long. It don't fucking change the facts. And the facts of the matter is, Layla wants to make it known every time somebody asks her, regardless to how long it's been now, whose fault it was and who did what and how she'll still kick Clarissa's ass to this day. Okay, since you keep saying it, let's go then. And this is what I'm saying. Since Roy Jones said, anybody want to fight him, all you got to call his name, and if somebody call your name, you got to fight him. And then if they're from your era, okay. Well, that would be his excuse to not fight Ngannou because he's not from his era. But you said you fight for a title. And this is what I'm saying. Who are you trying to prove this shit to? Who? You know how that motherfucker used to be in shape back in the day? And then all of a sudden somebody come along and even think about this motherfucker. Dude come out of his shirt, he ripped up and shredded, and that fat motherfucker sit over there hating on him and shit. Oh man, when I was his age, man, back in my day. Yeah, okay, you told us that to say what? Why are you worrying about this person's physique? Focus on you. This is all Roy Jones is doing, man. He's trying to put himself in a better position because he wants to, he don't care about the money though. Right. So if Jake Paul called you out right now and said, all right, Roy, I'm going to give you 10 grand, but my belt's on the line. I got some bullshit belt I'm going to make up, and then, come on, man, stop playing games. Stop playing. He knows damn well he fight Jake Paul. They're going to try to get this shit on Netflix, and it's going to be a whole Jake Paul versus another legend, another fucking Hall of Famer, an all-time great. He knows that. He'll take that ass whooping for that payday. And everybody knows, all you got to do with Roy, one good time is night-night. He don't have a fucking chin. So, anyways, I just wanted to show y'all this shit. Because these are the things that y'all forget. I remember these fucking things. And that's why I can find them, because I remember them. Nobody's making up shit or picking on this motherfucker. It's just real shit. Sometimes you got to talk to your family. Let them know who's wrong. Sit there and nitpick and dance on egg. No, motherfucker, you're wrong. He feel like he can say what the fuck he want. Well, motherfucker, so can I, and so can anybody else. Ain't nobody gonna sit up here, well, that's Roy. Fuck y'all. Y'all the fanboys that do all this waiting, and will try to think of what to say. Nah. He say he speak his mind. I speak, everybody know I speak my fucking mind. I back it up too. So all that shit he's saying is like, for what? Out of nowhere. If Floyd Mayweather came back, why? Of any fucking fighter's name, you gotta focus on Floyd. Because he's obsessed, he's jealous, he's bitter. And he's just an evil motherfucker. Because he can't get now what he didn't get back then. And I guarantee you, every time he hear anything about Floyd being broke, he probably be celebrating. Yeah, I hate that motherfucker. Good for him. And all of a sudden, nah, let me sit here. Let's look at the irony of it all. I'm going to sit here. Since, okay, Roy, you keep running your mouth. Man, you're not even worth me talking to. I'm not even going to waste my breath on you. I'm going to sit here and watch you get knocked the fuck out and entertain myself. And then I'm just going to go and buy 4 brand new vehicles. Let's see you do either. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys right now. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate about. The truth brings hate out of Roy. The truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next motherfucking video.